pray them through that wonderful time and wonderful experience. So yeah, use the QR code or just pop along to the welcome desk. Now we all know this, but there are many shapes and forms of fathers today. All right, they're expectant dads who are preparing for the miracle of fatherhood. There are young fathers who have embarked on, as we all know, the journey of a lifetime. There are the stepdads who are becoming more than you ever thought possible. Then there are the mentor dads who nurture hearts. They're the single dads who didn't expect for it to turn out this way. There are grandfathers whose legacy extends across the generations. There are dads who have lost children and carry the weight of grief. And there are dads with children with exceptional needs who require more than we will ever know. To you all, I want to add my voice to the sound of those shofars and just say, Happy Father's Day and have a lekker day. The reason I wanted to begin like that is because we're speaking about the Beatitudes at the moment. Last week we looked at the Beatitudes as an overview from the perspective of virtue and vice. You can pick that up on YouTube as well. But today I want to talk to all these groupings of men, of fathers that I've just shared here. And to all of you, to young and to old. Now, I'm speaking to you guys today. Ladies, you're welcome to listen in, or you may take out your knitting, your choice. Ooh, that was salty. That was salty. All right. Just establishing myself here. Okay. In a world where there are so many definitions of masculinity, today I want to just pause and I want to say this is what I understand as biblical masculinity, what I'm going to share today. So tune into that. But before I even get there, I'm going to take a little walk on the dark side of life. All right, so I'm going to begin by painting a rather dark picture, and you'll see why in a moment. While I was incapacitated and restricted to a firmly bound sling, I watched a 4-part Netflix series called Adolescence, all right, which was getting top ratings at the time. It was really compelling. I want you to watch it, okay? Not with your young children, though. From 13 up is fine, but I want you to watch it. It's intense, it's heavy, okay? And it has a lot of swearing in it, but it's not gratuitous swearing, which I dislike. It's contextual to the situation. And without giving too much away, if you haven't watched it, it's a 13-year-old boy who stabs to death a girl of the same age. And it's a journey of exploring the reason why it happened. Now, it's a British series that's designed to alert the public to a growing trend, and this is why I want you to watch it, among young men reacting now to feminism. Culture is shifting again. Many of us sitting here have lived through the decades of engaging wokeness, gender rights, liberalism, that's still a thing. But for the next generation, there's a shift. And they're rejecting the cultural agenda that has been real for us in the last decades. And they're shifting towards the right. Now, it's not just in the area of culture. Have you noticed that even politically the world is shifting right towards nationalism there? So we're seeing a major shift here. And like all these things, everything has an extreme side. But this particular shift is particularly impacting younger men and boys. Now, let me say this, that it is already a significant cultural force in Britain and Europe, and I'm going to share with you that. But it's such a significant shift that Netflix produced a series to open it up that was highly rated and viewed. But I want to say something more than that. It's a growing tide in South Africa. I've seen it. It's a growing tide in South Africa. Now, if you've never heard this term, I said I was walking on the dark side for a while, okay? So bear with me. If you've never heard this term, you need to Google it. Manosphere. Manosphere. This is what Wikipedia says about Manosphere. The Manosphere is a varied collection of websites, blogs, and online forums promoting masculinity, misogyny, and opposition to feminism. Communities within the Manosphere include men's rights activists, incels, you can Google that, that's a big deal, men going their own way, pickup artists, and fathers' rights groups. While the specifics of each group's beliefs sometimes conflict, they are generally united in the belief that society is biased against men due to the influence of feminism, and that feminists promote misogyny, the hatred of men. Acceptance of these ideas is described as taking the red pill, a metaphor borrowed from the film The Matrix. The Manosphere overlaps with the far right and alternate right communities. It has also been associated with online harassment and has been implicated in radicalizing men into misogynist beliefs and the glorification of violence against women. If you haven't Googled this stuff, you need to get here, okay? Now, the Netflix series Adolescence is about Manosphere, and it's opening up its impact on society. Its purpose is probably to alert parents to this rising tide, and that's why you should watch it. In spite of its intensity, in spite of its swearing and complexity, you should watch it. Not with children under 13, okay? We walk on the dark side. Let me give you a little bit more information. Paul Harris sent me an article on masculinity that had been published in Business Day, South African Business Day, 9th of June 2025, just a week or so ago. It references one of the current, that's why I said it's in South Africa already. This is not pie in the sky. It references one of the key current influences in the manosphere for young men and boys is a man called Andrew Tate. And here's the Wikipedia information on Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate is an American and English social media personality, businessman, and former professional kickboxer who is also a citizen of Vanuatu, whatever. He gained notoriety, whatever. He gained what? That word. For promoting various positions in the manosphere community. His controversial commentary has resulted in his expulsion from various social media platforms and concern that he promotes misogynist views to his audience. Look at this section. I highlighted it. A divisive influencer, Tate has amassed 10.7 million followers on Twitter or X as of June 2025 and was the third most Googled person in 2023, with most British adults aware of who he is. He has been dubbed the king of toxic masculinity, has called himself a misogynist, and is politically described as both right-wing and far-right. Quoting now from the Business Day article that Paul sent me, if there is any leader, this is now to South African press, okay? If there's any leader of the toxic masculinity pack, it is the British-American influencer and self-proclaimed misogynist Andrew Tate. At age 38, Tate is the Teflon baby of this pack. His online empire peddles a noxious brand of masculinity that equates dominance, wealth, and contempt for women with success. Despite facing criminal charges in the UK and Romania, including rape, bodily harm, human trafficking, and managing prostitution for profits, Tate's influence on young men and boys is growing. Can I say it again? This is a South African article. This has reached the young men and the boys of South Africa already. In Durbanville, in our universities, and in our colleges. We walk on the dark side. Now, while I'm on the movie gig, just to show that I am a movie buff, yeah. If you are subscribed to News 24, This last week, there was an expose on South Africa's new diamond rush. Don't know if you saw it. The headline was, "Blood, Fear, and Brutal Warfare in Namaqualand, the Story of Illicit Diamond Mining." Like a headline there. I just wanted to provoke this here because it reminded me of a 2006 movie you may have watched called Blood Diamonds. Remember that one? Where diamonds are mined in war zones and they're sold to finance insurgency or an invading army's war, terrorism, warlords activity. And now to start just changing this narrative a little bit here. There's one gutting section in that movie where a young man has been caught up in the conflict and he comes face to face with his dad at the opposite end of a gun. Here's the clip. And that is the only thing that's going to change the narrative. That could have been in a misogynist home in Durbanville, where gender-based violence is our highest incident reported at the police station. That could have been in the Northern Cape of South Africa in Namaqualand, or it could have been in the Cape Flats. We have to change the narrative. And yes, there is something we can do. There is something we can do. We can become clear again about what non-toxic biblical masculinity looks like, and we can live countercultural until the sweet fragrance of a different model of masculinity and fatherhood is spread around. But what does non-toxic masculinity look like? Well, it's found in the Beatitudes. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called sons of God. And blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. Here's what the word blessed means from the Amplified. Blessed means happy, to be envied, spiritually prosperous, the life joy, the satisfaction in God's favor and salvation, regardless of their outward conditions. As I shared last week, Bruce Winston, a professor at Regent College, instead of using the word beatitude, used the word virtue, a passion, a thirst, a desire, a hunger, an urge. the urge to do the right thing at the right time for the right reason. The opposite of that is vice, a neglect of a virtue, or an excess like a pendulum, two sides of a pendulum here. And we put that together in a table last week. You can pick that up, the two sides here. Now this leads on to this question: what does non-toxic biblical masculinity look like in a world where misogyny is is increasing? Men, here's the first thing. Men, we know we need God. And we are not embarrassed to say that we need God. Blessed are the pure in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Men, we're human, man. We're human. Like Paul said, I know that nothing good lives in me, then that is in my sinful nature. For I have the desire to do what is good, but I cannot carry it out. I'm nervous of this teaching which makes us kings and priests. How can you ever be wrong? How can you be human if you're the king? Men, to neglect this virtue makes you a beast who suffers from inferiority or arrogance. That's scary. What do we do, men? God, I have nothing to offer you except my life in worship of you. Standing tall, our heads bowed before King and our arms open in a surrendered way. That's as masculine as it gets. That is beautiful masculinity. In any culture, in any place in the world, a man whose life is surrendered to God is what God requires of us. And make it visible to your family at home, not just on public platforms. Here's some second thing about biblical masculinity. We express compassion and care like Jesus did. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Do you remember this from last week? The word mourn means to care so deeply that you feel it in your guts. Jesus did, but when Jesus, saw the multitudes, he was moved with compassion for them, because they were weary and scattered like sheep having no shepherd. What's the opposite of this? It's this distasteful disregard that some people have in society, where they just disrespect other people, where they're indifferent to their employees, to the shop assistants, to children, to women. They're dismissive. The excess is another extreme, where men are over-controlling. And we've seen enough of that excess in society. Jesus is this perfect masculine image, the ability to move with compassion without being emotionally weak. A balance. To care without getting in the hole. To express emotions, but like Jesus did. Here's the third thing we found about biblical masculinity. We are strength under control. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Meek means gentle, considerate, unassuming. Meek men are not weak men. It does not mean men who are weak, spineless, feeble, or lifeless. That's not appealing. That is called toxic passivity. This means strength under control. It means controlled discipline. Get it wrong, you're going to become toxically passive. Get it wrong on the other side, you're going to become domineering. Both ends are repulsive to masculinity. Here's the fourth thing. We choose God's will to be our will. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. We're not satisfied with anything less than conformity to God's will. Now that doesn't make us perfect, by the way, but it is a pursuit of what is right. In your marriage, in your masculinity, in your workplace, in your personal values. Neglect it, you're going to become a complacent male. Get to the excess, you're going to become a willful male. God, I don't care about your way, I'm doing it my way. Now for your interest, this is what psychology tells us that boys pick up from their fathers. This is what psychology teaches here. This is what boys pick up from their fathers, the way their father handles his anger, the way he shows or withholds affection, the way he treats women, the way he talks to himself, what he turns to when he is overwhelmed, how he apologizes or doesn't, how he makes room for joy, rest, and failure, whether he asks for help or never does, and that doesn't include directions in the car, that's excluded. Just put that list up again, please, Taryn. Look at that list. Now make sure that your biblical virtues, make sure that your kid picks up that and not your damaged ego. Here's the fifth thing the Beatitudes teach us about biblical masculinity. We are mercy-filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. What's mercy? Compassion, forgiveness, kindness. It's a divine quality that's found in God himself. But you cannot receive mercy until you first give mercy. So we have to say, God, show me mercy. Neglect this virtue and you'll become a lenient father like Eli. Get in excess and you will become ruthless. Now just for a moment, let me just speak about marriages, those of you who are marriages. Truly healthy marriages have mercy embedded in them. Tim Keller says this: if two spouses each say, I am going to treat my self-centeredness as the main problem in the marriage, you have a prospect of a truly great marriage. No amens there. Here's the sixth thing. Men, we are pure in heart. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. We are men of purity. Job 31 says, I've made a covenant with my eyes. Why then should I look upon a young woman? Make a covenant with your eyes. Psalm 119 says, turn away my eyes from looking at worthless things. Here's the seventh thing. We are sons of God. We choose peacemaking over warmongering and conflict. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called sons of God. We are all called to be activists for making peace. A peacemaker is placed between a pacifist and a warmonger. We are not peacekeepers, by the way. Men are not peacekeepers. We are peacemakers. Big difference, whether you're at home, at work, or wherever you are. Let me show you what peacekeepers do. Jeremiah says it in a gutting way. He says, they have also healed the hurt of my people slightly, saying peace, peace, when there is no peace. That's not peacemaking. That's just keeping the peace. It's okay, peace, peace, and you will heal the hurt of the people slightly. But here's what peacemakers do. For he himself is our peace, who has made both one and has broken down the middle wall of separation. Do you want to be a peacemaker at home, in your family, in your marriage, in your workplace? Here's the secret. Look for the wall of separation and speak to that. Even if it's painful for a while, speak to that. That's how you make peace. Anything else will sweep it under the carpet. And by the way, if you take this scripture at face value, he himself is our peace, you'll find that's exactly what Jesus did for you and I. He looked for the wall of separation and he split the curtain in two so that you could go into the Holy of Holies. So that means when you go into conflictual situations, you'll find Jesus has gone there before you. Last one. This is the kind of man I am, and I don't care what others say. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you. You're not masculine enough, you're not toxic and whatever. Persecute you and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. Let me conclude. What does non-toxic biblical masculinity look like? We are men who know we need God. We express compassion and care like Jesus. We are strength under control. We choose God's will to be our will. We are mercy-filled. We are pure in heart. We are sons of God. We choose peacemaking over warmongering and conflict. And we don't care what others say. I'd love my masculinity and your masculinity to be based on that list. And I want you to share it with others. Let's look at that clip again. Lord Jesus Christ, we just see in that story the incredible reality of you coming to your own son and saying, I am your father and you are my son. And in that moment you created this reality that no matter what happens on earth, no matter what kind of fathers we've all had here, in the ultimate sense, you are our Father. And we are your sons and daughters of the Most High God. And so right now we release all the weaknesses, all the humanity, all the failings of earthliness here. And we accept the greatest healing of all, the Father heart of God. The Father heart of God deep inside us, affirming us, speaking to us, even if we've traveled places and spaces that have taken us far from that. As we search and search today, we find the peace of the Father heart of God. As he says, I am your Father. You are noticed, you are here, and you are my son and daughter. And for that we worship you. Let's stand. Just worship God.